It's been over 20 years since Jeep produced an all-new truck, and we finally have it with the new Jeep Gladiator platform. Now this is a Rubicon model, meaning it has front and rear selectable lockers, a 4-to-1 T-case, dedicated off-road mode, and of course electronic sway bar disconnect. Now, as the only mid-size truck with solid front and rear axles, a removable top, and a removable set of doors, it's very unique in its class. Now, we will have a full breakdown on the all-new Gladiator coming to you very soon. This article is going to be a little different. We're actually going to focus on 5 of the first mods that we did to this truck and why we did them. Okay, so our first mod, kind of boring, floor mats. Nobody really wants to talk about them, but it's a good thing to have, especially on a vehicle that's this expensive. Now, if you're gonna spend the money, go ahead and get a quality pair. We actually really like the Mopar ones. Sometimes the factory ones are a little so-so, but these are cool, and one of the biggest reasons we like it, we found they're easy to spray off, but more specifically, they have this little inset here that goes into your Jeep's factory floor. Now, this is where the drain hole is, so if this thing just gets super nasty and covered in mud and you're afraid to even take it out and get stuff everywhere, you can actually leave it in and just spray out right through the drain hole. So these are cool. And matter of fact, if you want to be super hardcore, you can pop out your carpet and just pop these things right in place. We don't recommend that, but just so you know, you can. Now our second mod comes at the back of the bed. This is the Mopar series tonneau cover. Now, having a full family of 4 inside of the vehicle, you are absolutely going to run out of storage, and if you want to keep your gear out of the weather, we highly recommend some type of tonneau coverage. Now this is the Mopar one, so you can option it from the factory. We like the fact that it's easy to roll up, and if you need to pull it off entirely, it unbolts from the bulkhead with just 2 bolts. It's done a pretty good job of keeping everything dry and out of the dust, and we definitely don't hesitate recommending it if you're looking to keep your stuff out of the weather. Modification number 3 is by far the biggest and most impactful. Now, the Rubicon comes from the factory with a 33-inch tall tire. In our opinion, it looks a little lost with these big wheel wells on the Rubicon Edition. So we upgraded to a set of 35 by 1250 Nitto ridge grapplers. Now, these are mounted on a 17 by 9 patent series wheel from Centerline. This cast aluminum wheel has 4.53 inches of back spacing. That's important to note because it does stick the tire out just a bit outside of the fender well. Now, if you're someone that's going to bother, just know it's going to sling a little bit of extra dirt, but it's not too bad. The real thing to note here is, yes, you can run a 35 with no lift, but note that going with this little bit of offset, occasionally, if this thing is at full twist off-road, you might get a little bit of rub inside of the fender well. In terms of handling, we would say it's definitely improvement. These trucks can feel a little twitchy because of the electronic steering on the highway, and we like how they drive and ride with this bigger footprint on there. In terms of power, given this platform has 410 gears and the 8-speed automatic, you really didn't notice a huge difference, and maybe at best in town we lost about a mile per gallon. Overall, definitely a good upgrade. It not only performs better, you got a bigger footprint, which really helps with this long wheelbase, but at the end of the day, it looks a lot better too. One of the main things that sets the Gladiator Rubicon apart from every other midsize truck is the fact that you can run a 35-inch tall tire with no lift. Now, this is accomplished by the Highline fender kit that comes standard on the Rubicon models. Now, a carryover complaint we have from the JL Wrangler platform is that debris can easily get lodged in between the body and the flare. Now, a simple solution comes by way of our mod number 4, and that is a cheap rubber tube seal. Now, what you'll do is you'll measure out the length that you need, then take a small knife or take razor blade, whatever you want to use to cut it, cut the length, and then take a plastic trim tool and gently guide the seal in. Now, this is going to keep most debris out of here, or at least make it very easy to evacuate it. Now, we will tell you, we've got some experience with this with the Wrangler. It's not the perfect solution. This stuff will come out of the flare, especially if you go off-road a lot, and it does deteriorate over time. You pressure wash your vehicle, it flies out. We've had to replace it a few times. It's not perfect, but it's definitely a good solution, especially if you're in an area where you're driving in either gravel a lot or you have trees that are constantly leaving debris in between the fender and the body. Now, if one of the reasons that you purchased a Gladiator is for the open top convenience, we definitely have a cool mod for you. Now, instead of having to remove the freedom panels and worrying about them sliding around in the bed or getting scratched up anywhere whenever you want to take them off for convenience. We upgraded this Jeep with a best top twill Sunrider for hardtops. Now what this is, the entire system just replaces your 2 front freedom panels. Now it bolts all together in about 30 minutes, and it's not a very complicated install. What it is a very cool upgrade if you're the type of person that wants to drive this thing every day, and let's say you get out and you're ready to come home and you just want that open air feel. All you do have to unlatch 2 latches and it pops right back. Now you can drive down the road as fast as you want. You don't have to worry about it. If you do take it off-road, Best Top sends us these small straps that keep it from flying forward, so that's pretty convenient. For just driving it around, let's say you get in some rain or bad weather, just reach your hand back up and bam, click it back down and you're good to go. Now one thing we thought was pretty interesting to note, we were curious to see how big of a noise difference it would make. So we downloaded an app on our phone called Decibel and we went for a drive. Now with the hardtop on, we measured a 74.5 average at 55 miles per hour. And we thought, okay, we didn't really have a good baseline because we'd never tested it before. Now after putting on the Sunrider, we went for a drive and we just assumed it would be louder. Surprisingly, we averaged a 69.8. Now, I don't know how scientific it is. It's an app on an iPhone, so take that for what you will. But we will say for driving it around, we're not noticing a ton of whistle, and it's not bad. Now, this hardtop doesn't have the factory sound deadening, and it does sound, well, I don't want to say tinny at times, but it's definitely more echoey than if you got in a comparable, I don't know, Chevy Colorado. So that's just something that's just a takeaway feature of something that has a removable top. But if you want to be able to open up the top quickly and you like the idea of the convenience, this is definitely a cool mod to have. So that rounds up our top 5. Very easy, simple mods to do. We've got a long list of things to this truck that we'd like to do, but for now we're going to enjoy it and see what kind of trouble and fun we can get into with this all new Gladiator platform.